Why, hello there. Are you here to listen to a scary story? Perhaps you just happen to stumble upon my channel. Well, my name is DANIEDREADFUL, and that's what I do here. I tell true paranormal, creepypasta, and sometimes I sprinkle in a little classic horror. Now, if that all sounds good to you, why not stay and hit that subscribe button? If you're already subscribed, welcome back, my beautiful creepy people. Tonight, we're diving into some allegedly true encounters that will leave you wondering what's true and what's not. So without further ado, grab your blankets, grab your whiskey, wine, or coffee, whichever you prefer, and let's get into tonight's terrifying encounters. Since the dawn of time, humans have feared the unknown, but few creatures ignite our imagination or our terror like the Wolfman. The idea of a man cursed to become a beast under the full moon has been the subject of myth, folklore, and even science. But where did this legend come from? And how did it transform into the chilling encounters we hear about today? The story of the Wolfman, or werewolf, has roots that stretch deep into human history. Some of the earliest recorded werewolf legends come from ancient Greece. In one tale, King Lycaon angered the god Zeus by serving him a meal made of human flesh. As punishment, Zeus transformed Lycaon into a wolf, creating the term lycanthropy. In Norse mythology, we find tales of men wearing enchanted wolf pelts that gave them the power to transform into wolves, fierce warriors known as Ulfandar. These myths highlight the deep connection between wolves and power, savagery, and transformation. During the Middle Ages, werewolves became a symbol of fear and suspicion. In 16th and 17th century Europe, the fear of werewolves led to trials similar to the witch hunts. People accused of being werewolves were often tortured and executed, their supposed transformations blamed on deals with the devil. These stories of cursed men transforming under the full moon took on a darker, more supernatural edge. But while the myth evolved, one thing remained constant. The Wolfman represented the wild, untamed side of humanity, something to be feared and controlled. While the Wolfman legend has mythical origins, some believe it may have a basis in reality. Hypertrichosis, or werewolf syndrome, is a rare genetic condition that causes excessive hair growth all over the body. In the 19th century, people with hypertrichosis were often exploited as sideshow attractions, fueling stories of wild men or human wolves. But despite their appearance, these were ordinary people living extraordinary lives in the shadow of the Wolfman myth. But what if I told you some of these encounters are all too real? Some might even walk among us. Let's begin with Lucas, a long-haul trucker from Ohio. One late autumn night, he was driving through rural Wisconsin when he stopped at a desolate gas station. While refueling, he couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. As he got back to the road, his unease only grew. Lucas noticed movement out of the corner of his eye. Something was running alongside his truck. At first, he thought it was a large dog, but as he glanced out the window, his heart sank. This wasn't a dog. It was upright, wolf-like, and massive. Its glowing yellow eyes locked onto his. Lucas described it as something straight out of a nightmare. 7 feet tall, long claws, and intelligence in its movements that no animal should have. He floored the gas, but even at 70 miles an hour, the creature kept pace before vanishing into the night. Lucas never drove that route again. Our next story brings us to Mexico, where Jesus Chuy Aceves and his family became the center of Wolfman legends. Born with a rare condition called hypertrichosis, or werewolf syndrome, Chuy's body was covered in thick hair even on his face. To some, Chuy was living proof of the Wolfman myth. Stories spread about curses, supernatural powers, and strange occurrences under the full moon. But Chuy's story is a reminder that sometimes what we fear most is simply a reflection of our misunderstanding. In Minnesota, a family on a secluded farm faced something much darker. One winter, the Thompsons began hearing strange noises at night, growling, scratching, and footsteps circling their home. At first, they thought it was coyotes or a bear, of course. But the massive clawed footprints they found in the snow told a different story. One night, the father stepped outside with a rifle. Standing at the edge of the woods, he saw it, a towering wolf-like creature with glowing red eyes. It growled, and he froze, feeling more prey than predator. For hours, the family listened to the creature circling their home. By dawn, it was gone, but claw marks on the window served as a chilling reminder of what had visited them. In the Appalachian Mountains, Clara, a solo backpacker, stumbled upon a half-eaten deer carcass in the middle of the trail. Uneasy but determined, she pressed on as the sun dipped lower. Soon, the forest fell silent, a sure sign something was nearby. Clara saw it ahead, a wolf-like creature standing upright. It tilted its head, watching her with unsettling curiosity. Then, in a blur, it dropped to all floors and disappeared into the trees. Clara ran the rest of the way back to her car, swearing she'd never hike alone again. In 1867, British soldiers in India stumbled upon a wolf den while patrolling a remote jungle. To their shock, they found not just wolves, but 2 young boys living among them. One of these boys, later named Dina Sanachar, moved on all fours, growled instead of speaking, and seemed more wolf than human. While science dismisses Dina's story as a case of feral child syndrome, villagers believed he was a child cursed to become a wolf. Stories like Dina's continue to blur the lines between reality and myth. Are these tales mere folklore, or do they hint at something lurking in the shadows, waiting to be discovered? The Wolfman legend has persisted for centuries, and stories like these ensure it will never die. From ancient Greece to medieval Europe, from rare medical conditions to unexplained encounters, the Wolfman legend has endured for centuries. Perhaps it's because it touches something primal, a fear of the wild, of the unknown, of the beast that might be lurking inside all of us. And if these stories leave you wondering, Hollywood's latest take on the legend might just bring the Wolfman to life again. The highly anticipated Wolfman movie promises to explore the fear and fascination surrounding the iconic creature. But as you sit in the theater, remember, for some, the Wolfman isn't just fiction, it's reality. If you've had a strange encounter or know someone with a story to tell, drop it in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more chilling tales that will keep you looking over your shoulder.